The Suika game, or the watermelon game for us Americans, is trending all over the world right now, and I want to play it. The issue is, it's only available on the Japanese Nintendo eShop. That's pretty lame. So instead, let's recreate the game, but as a mobile app. Okay, let's give this a go. My awesome, amazing friend drew these incredible sprites for me. Let's start by creating how it will look. These objects have a box collider and a static rigid body. We'll also need to create prefabs for every ball. Each ball will have a specific size, a bouncy material, a rigid body with no gravity, and 2 colliders, where one has the is trigger enabled. Look at how far we've come without a single line of code. Let's change that. We need the ball to drop on our command. Now we need the next ball to spawn. I'll go more in depth in all this code at the end. Now the hard part. We need these balls to merge. We'll add it to our first script. And wham bam, thank you ma'am, we now have a fully playable game. I also added a start and game over screen, and we did it. That's the game. Okay, let's slow down here. For the rest of this video, I'm gonna go more in depth on the code here, but I get it, it's kind of boring. Okay, let's get started. I'll start with the spawn ball script here. It's actually pretty simple. I have prefabs of all the balls loaded in here, at least the first like 5 of them, because that's how the real game works. You don't want to drop a beach ball and like automatically win. So what I created here is the first 5 ball prefabs and put them all into a list. I add them to the list right here, and then in the update script, if the previous ball has dropped, it'll pick a random ball from this list and create it at the top of the screen. That's it. That's pretty simple. I attached it to the camera to keep it always going. For the ball controller, we've got a lot going on here. This is where basically everything happens. In the ball controller, I start by getting the rigid body here of the actual component itself, because we want to change the gravity scale to give it gravity when I release the ball. And I also want to check if it's merged or not, because if it's already merged, that ball has already been dropped even without my touch. So we want to make sure that it's actually set to that variable. In the update function, which is the one that happens every frame, here's where we're checking for the user's touch. So if they touch the screen at the beginning, it creates this began phase, and we allow the user to move the ball around left and right. I also created the line marker here, so when they touch it, the line marker should be created to show where it'll drop. Then there's the move phase, where you're continuing to press down and it'll change the position of the ball and the line marker as you go. Once you release, the touch phase is ended, so you're not allowed to move the ball anymore. We increase the gravity to 2, and we destroy the line marker. I also started coroutine here, or however you pronounce it. And what I do here is I wait for 0.5 seconds before I change the ball dropped to be true. And that's because if I immediately make the ball drop to be true and a new ball spawns, it'll spawn as the ball is falling down and they'll kind of collide with each other, and that creates some jank. So I wait just 0.5 seconds to let it drop a little bit first. Down here we have the on trigger enter 2D, which is called every single time the ball collides with something. And so basically all I'm doing here is checking if the ball collides with another ball of the same tag, which means like, hey, this ball is a beach ball, this other ball is a beach ball, they collide and they'll do something. If it is a beach ball, it actually skips this because I check to see if the tag is a beach ball or not. And if it is a beach ball, because that's the last ball in the game, I make sure each ball dropped is true, and then I destroy both of the beach balls. If it's not a beach ball, however, I check the instance ID of each ball. And I do this because I don't want both of them to call this function. I only want it to work with one of them. And so what I do is I create a new ball, the new one that's in the next. So if 2 marbles collide with each other, it'll create a golf ball. I change the merged variable to be true. so we know that it's already dropped. And just to be on the safe side, I also make sure ball dropped is true just to confirm that it is here, but I don't think this line is necessary. I changed the transform position to be one of the balls, the one that's actually working through here. And then I also add this 0.05 here because I notice sometimes if one ball is created and it's right next to another ball that could be merged, sometimes for some reason it doesn't show that the collision began. And so I wiggle it basically by adding 0.5 in the Y direction so that if it's newly created, it moves up a little bit so it could fall onto another ball that's the same and it'll merge again. And of course I changed the gravity to 2. I check to make sure the ball isn't over the line here, so if it is, that's game over, you lost. I also here make sure the ball drops for the 2 balls that are colliding are true. This is because if I drop a ball and say it merges too quickly, the ball dropped function, or sorry, the ball dropped variable will not turn to true in time, and that'll break the entire script. A new ball will not be created in the end. So I just make sure before it gets destroyed that the ball dropped is true. And then lastly, for my game over and play buttons, all I do is change the scene to whichever one it needs to go to. And that's the game. That's Watermelon Game, Suika Game made sports in a nutshell. Pretty simple game, works really well for a mobile game. Yes, I know there's already a mobile game out there and one that you can just play on the computer, which is pretty awesome. I thought it would be fun to make, and it really was. It was also my first experience with Unity, and I found it pretty fun. Alright, so that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed and want more, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye!